I don't know. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtually Hamilton event as people are loading into the room. We are very excited to have you here this evening, and we'll get started in just a few minutes as people are coming in. All righty. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Oliver. I'm one of the Associate Deans of Admission here at Hamilton College, and very excited to welcome you to our virtually Hamilton session on QuestBridge. Here I'm joined by two wonderful people at Hamilton who will introduce themselves shortly, but I would first like to congratulate you on being named as college prep scholars for QuestBridge. You all have achieved great things throughout your high school career. And as you take this next step into college, we are very excited that you have interest in Hamilton, but want you to know that we are here as a resource to help you. We will get started with the panel where our panelists will introduce themselves. They'll say their name, their pronouns. Our student will say what year they are. Our Hamilton staff will say their position and title. They will say one fun thing they did this summer. And our student will share their major and some fun activities they're involved in. So I will get us started because that was a lot to ask of them. So my name is Caitlin. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My position is Associate Dean of Admission. And one fun thing I did this summer is that I went to Disney World for a week. So that's my one thing. I will pass it over to Maria.
Hi, everyone, and congratulations on the steps that you've taken so far. My name is Maria Hinao Ohms. I serve as Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And let's see, one fun thing that I did this summer, I've had a kind of a bucket list of things that I've wanted to do in the central New York area. And so this is an area that has a lot of history in the abolitionist movement. And so I actually got to go over to Auburn, New York, which is an area that's just has a lot of history. And now I'm like blanking here. I'm sorry, I'm like getting over being sick. But Harriet Tubman's home is in Auburn, New York. And so I was able to tour the grounds of her home and actually get to know a little bit deeper about her history beyond what we tend to read in history books. So, so next up, I'm gonna head over to Seneca Falls and go to the Women's Rights Museum. But that's one thing that I did this summer that was so fun. And I'm so glad to be here.
Hi, I'm the student on the panel. My name is Jung Won. I'm a rising junior. My pronouns are he, him, his, and something fun, or biochemistry major, statistics minor. Something fun that I did this summer. I went to DC for the first time, so that was really cool to just be around, like in a place surrounded with so many things to do. And yeah, congratulations on being a prep scholar. I personally didn't do prep scholar, but I was a college QuestBridge match, so that's some context for next year.
Awesome. Thank you both for your introductions. So we have some prepared questions to get the panelists warmed up, but we would love to hear any questions that you all have. Just feel free to put them in the chat box. And I have a colleague in the background answering some questions, and we will also ask some questions live. So please feel free. We are here for you all. So make sure you don't leave here sort of with any questions on your heart. You utilize the chat box and we will get to them. But to kick us off, we want Junwon to share a little bit about your college search. Sort of what was your college search like and how did you end up choosing Hamilton?
Yeah, so when I was a senior in high school, I honestly was just looking for things that provided a lot of financial aid coming from a low income background. QuestBridge is pretty well known, I think, in just like most high schools. So I was recommended by a counselor as well as finding it on the internet. I, looked on the website, thought it was a really good, you know, something that I could do to allow me to um, attend college. So I applied for QuestBridge, got a finalist, and then I guess my college search kind of began when I had to rank my schools. And when I was ranking my schools, the things that came to mind first were, having my general academic interest. So something bio related, biochemistry. Hamilton was well ranked within that. And then next came, I guess, the other, less upfront things. So the campus setting, how people are at the school, and going on the websites, and seeing the videos, and even going on YouTube. Hamilton has a YouTube channel which has like dorm tours as well as just like students being interviewed. I think that is what allowed me to get like a sneak peek into what Hamilton was like. And I think through that, I was able to, you know, decide on a list of schools that were mainly smaller and student focused, a higher emphasis on giving opportunities for undergraduates. And honestly, that's how my college search went. And through that, I found out about Hamilton and ranked Hamilton.
Awesome. Thank you, John Juan. And so to go along with that, in terms of what people look for in colleges, I am going to first start with sort of the academic experience to get us started. At Hamilton, we have a really unique structure in that we have an open curriculum. And what that means is that there's no core requirements. Students have flexibility to really choose whatever courses are of interest to you, whether it be in an area that you want to major in or an area that you're thinking about majoring in, but you get to sort of drive your experience and have full autonomy in the courses that you select. What's also nice about that is that you're in classes with people who also selected to be in those classes, which makes it an enriching and engaging experience. So I would love for John Juan to talk about the academic environment here at Hamilton. And then I would love Maria to talk about like the resources that are on campus for our students academically.
Yeah, academics is one of the things that stands out most for Hamilton, just because smaller school. On top of being a smaller school, I think um, the I guess the environment, the how people act towards each other, it's very cooperative, in both an academic and just personal setting. So I know in high school, I think many of the high schoolers relate to this, where it's like there's always this competitive aspect to school, whether it be rankings or just trying to score the best score. And um, you know, there's cheating and just a bunch of things that really foster just a sense of competition. But at Hamilton, I think what stands out is just the um, cooperativity with each other and just like helping each other out. A lot of students will just help one another out on particular assignments. Professors will work directly with you. Um, I think the academic setting at Hamilton is just very encouraging for those who are succeeding and for those who may be falling behind. There's a lot of opportunities to succeed at school through research, through extracurricular opportunities, but there's also many resources to those who may be a little bit behind. There's tutoring. I'm part of the QSR, which is a tutoring service, pre-tutoring service for any undergraduates, and there's many advisors that students are assigned to, which also help them through that journey. And professors, of course, are like one of the main things that allow you to succeed. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I would share that in addition to that, thinking of resources to help you, I think just navigate, college in general. Because I think one of the things that that we don't often talk about is really the challenge to really navigate college. And if you're a QuestBridge scholar who's first generation, you're kind of entering the space without a roadmap. And I'm there and other folks are there when you arrive to Hamilton as a QuestBridge scholar. So, Caitlin and I are co-advisors to the QuestBridge Scholars Network. Eric, who's behind the scenes today, is also connected and very supportive. But when I think of one of the resources that I think is really unique to Hamilton is our Alex Advising program. And so if you as a student in high school think about your counselor, or if you have an academic advisor, well, the Alex Advisor kind of is a morph of all of those things. So you'll have your academic advisor that's focused on your studies and kind of what you're interested in, even as you're initially exploring and arriving to Hamilton. But they're also, and more than anything, they're kind of a guide for you. So you will be assigned an Alex Advisor upon admission to Hamilton. And this person will actually be with you through all 4 years. So from arrival to the moment that you walk across that stage at commencement, this Alex Advisor will be with you all along the way. And so they're a great person to think of as like your home base. If you have any questions, don't know where to go, connect with your Alex Advisor and they will direct you, connect you, link you, hand you off, to whatever is best. And also they're a great person who can serve as a thought partner with you. So as you're thinking about, everything from like, well, maybe I have an internship opportunity, but I don't know what to wear or how to organize myself for this interview, for this internship, or, I'm interested in applying for a job on campus, but I don't even know how to do that. Where do I go? I mean, this person, I kind of think of them as like the Swiss Army knife of your experience because they're going to be plugged into everything. So, I would say that I'd love to, I want to highlight that for folks that are watching this webinar now.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria. And thank you, John Juan. And I do see that we have another one of our current students join us, Vanessa, who's the president of the QSN. So Vanessa, if you can introduce yourself quickly with your name, where you're from, your major, and your year, and one fun thing you're doing this summer.
So my name is Vanessa. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a current senior and the president of QSN. I'm from Flushing, Queens in New York City. I'm currently a bio major with an art minor. And I'm also involved with the Career Center and recently the Pre-Health Career Club. And something fun I did this summer is drawing blood from a monkey and 3 rabbits at my internship. Oh, that's 2 things, but yeah, very fun.
That's so cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to ask you the next question. And that, can you talk about your relationships with your professors and what engagement with faculty looks like at Hamilton?
What is this the question for me?
Yes, for you.
Okay. I would say my relationship with my professors is usually very close. One of my favorite classes, one of my very first classes actually, is Bio 100 with Professor Ria Data. She's going to be my thesis advisor this year. I developed a really close relationship with her by not only taking a class with her, but also doing research with her. I see her around like outside of class as well. So sometimes I talk to her. So I would say, like, because Hamilton is so small, it's so easy to develop a close relationship with your professors, which is like an advantage of going to a small school versus like a big school. Like I know a lot of my friends go to big schools and it's like classes of like 100 kids and the professor doesn't even know the student's name, but that never happens at Hamilton. Every professor knows like every student in their class. And I feel like that's really important because you feel seen and you feel heard. And if you need help, they're always willing to help you. Office hours are always there. And if office hours doesn't work, every one of my professors has always made themselves available outside of those hours as well, which I think is extremely helpful, especially if you're really having trouble with the class. I've never felt like a professor like wasn't willing to help. I would say that is one really good thing about Hamilton in terms of academics.
Awesome. And you mentioned the small community. So if John Juan, you can start us off and talk about residential life here. Because at Hamilton, 100% of our students live on campus, and you live on campus for all 4 years. So can you talk about like the community and that residential experience and to kick us off?
Yeah. So everyone lives on campus, which is, I guess, it's a really good aspect about Hamilton, just because the campus is like concentrated, so everyone is to walk from one side of campus to the other side of campus takes like around 15 minutes. So all the time you'll see people that walking along Martin's Way and just say hello and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, I guess more on residential life itself, everyone a lot of the time freshman year you meet a lot of your friends through just living next to each other in the same hallway, and the RAs, resident advisors, facilitate activities to create those bonding experiences. And so I would say that residential life is really it creates small close-knit communities through the just being organized together. And I guess there's also those like not stereotypes, but just like ideas about what type of people live in specific dorms. So like dark side dorms house more humanities people, just because the humanities buildings are in the dark side, while light side dorms house more STEM, business, econ people. So those sort of people live in the light side, but obviously those are not restrictive. So I think the dorms provide a good variety of different types of housing where people with who have similar interests and I guess who have similar passions live together. And that occurs after freshman year, but also there's community housings, which there's housing specific to special interests. So the ones that I know of are there's a co-op house, which basically they cook their own food, and there's a video game house. There's other types of houses, but to sum it all up, just basically that freshman year you get to bond with all sorts of people, and then after freshman year you kind of get to choose like what type of people you want to hang out with, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to hang out with the same type of people, but there's a lot of ways to facilitate and grow communities within Hamilton.
Yeah. Nice. And Vanessa, can you expand a little bit on community and talk about like how do you get involved? Like what kind of things go on campus with clubs, organizations, sports? Just how do students get involved?
To expand on in terms of community, I would say it's pretty easy to get involved. It's more so you need to be willing to put yourself out there. So as you guys might know, we have like emails every day, like from different organizations, from clubs, from student assembly, from DMC. It's really easy to find something to do on campus and like meet new people. Clubs are always having meetings / events. We have like club fairs. Sometimes student assembly does like merchandise drop, like very random things. I know one thing off the top of my head is like, I forget what it's called. It's like stuffing like an animal or something. That was something that we started during the pandemic, and I have like 2 of those because I went both years. So I think it's just something easy. Like you're not really forced to stay at an event for the whole time. You kind of just drop in whenever you want, whenever you feel like it, and you can leave whenever you want. I would say all our events on campus are pretty chill. They're also like games that students can just drop by at. Yeah, I feel like there's always something to do on campus.
Awesome. And to go along with clubs, I mean, you all have an organization on campus, right? So can you explain what the Quest Scholar Network, like what is the Quest Scholar Network? What does it look like to be involved in that? What does that mean for our QuestBridge scholars on campus? So whoever wants to start.
I'm just going to have like a proud advisor moment. It's like the best club. I mean, I'm not supposed to pick favorites, but Jung Won and Vanessa know this about me. So I'm going to stop now, but proud advisor moment.
Okay, I guess, okay, never mind.
No, you can go ahead, Vanessa.
You go. No, you go.
I guess for some context, last year, this past academic year, I was president, Vanessa was vice president, so we kind of have like a more solid grasp on this question. So the QuestBridge Scholars Network at Hamilton comprises of finalists who matched Hamilton, as well as finalists who did regular decision, and got into Hamilton. So we have a wide range of students. Currently, I think it's around 120 scholars on campus, and basically what we do is just provide opportunities to create community, whether that would be through a scholar to scholar program where we have um, upperclassmen mentoring underclassmen, as well as just fun day trips. So last year we went to Syracuse, we went to the Finger Lakes, just having these sponsored activities free of cost to QuestBridge scholars, as well as just, the small things like finals goodie bags, little things that will remind scholars that, they're not alone in this process and that they can, go through the school year. Something that I really liked last year was we had a end of year barbecue, which I thought was really fun. And it was just at the end of the year, everyone is done with classes and they're all, they're still stressed out about finals. Some of them are done, some of them aren't. But we had this end of year barbecue where Maria, the e-board, Vanessa and I all cooked up food and basically just allowed an opportunity for scholars just to meet up and relax and reflect on the entire year so far. Vanessa can talk more about the other things that we do, but yeah.
I feel like you basically said everything, but I would say QSN is anyone. I know I got this email earlier. Someone asked like, "Oh, I'm not a finalist, but am I still in QSM?" So the answer is yes, you're still in QSN even though you didn't match. I didn't match. I got into Hamilton through regular decision, and I still am in QSN, and I got involved like fall freshman year. So you can get involved really easily. Our e-board is pretty huge. I feel like there's always like opportunities to get involved. We're always having events, I would say at least from what I remember, at least one event once a month. And then like John said, we also have like passive stuff like goodie bags. Yeah, and we regularly communicate with our scholars through email. Sometimes we leave stuff in the mailboxes, but I think we're kind of drifting away from that now and starting to focus more on our events so we can encourage students to socialize with the other scholars on campus. Yeah, so everyone, we're also thinking of, I know this is just an idea, but Maria, John and I were talking about kind of expanding QSN to non-QuestBridge people. So like first generation, low income students, something like that. So that's still in the works, but for now, QSN is open to all QB scholars, whether or not they matched or not.
Awesome. And then Maria, proud advisor, can you speak about your role and how you work with our QuestBridge scholars on campus?
Sure. So, I think we have a really unique and really exciting structure. So I serve as a co-advisor. Caitlin is our other co-advisor. And so, together in these roles, we're really kind of help guide. I say that we're kind of the rails, kind of keeping things on the rails, because really our QuestBridge scholars are just so phenomenal. And we as advisors are really just thought partners. So we know that the QSN has certain goals that they want to meet and programs they want to do. And so we're constantly thinking about how do we weave this community together and how do we ensure that we create opportunities for students, for the scholars to get to socialize, and also just get to know one another on a little bit of a deeper level, because everyone's coming from all over the country, and you don't know one another until you arrive. But the one thing that I have found every single year, and I've been co-advising the QSN since the beginning in the fall of 2018, is that I don't know what is in the water. I don't know what what it is, but every scholar that comes through, no matter where they are from the United States, how different they are from one another, there's just some sort of magic upon connection. I don't know if it's that, I think what Vanessa mentioned, it doesn't matter if you're a finalist of match, you're QuestBridge, right? And you're ours, and you're part of the community. So I don't know what it is, but it's just this really unique interest and pride in just being, in QuestBridge and what that means, and being part of a really unique, interesting, intellectual, like super cool community of students, and the things that you get to do with one another and kind of take advantage of these resources. So us as advisors, we meet with the QSN leadership. So Vanessa, Jungwon, Emily this year, and just kind of help them think about how do they guide and serve as leadership to the QuestBridge Scholars kind of senior team, the executive group, and then how do they organize programs. And then we also serve as cheerleaders, which is my favorite. And we get to push them and challenge them a little bit, and get them a little bit out of their comfort zones, and while at the same time supporting them while they're there. So we're always, like I said, just kind of keeping things on the rails and being guardrails and letting students explore and learn. And then they also have, because we meet so regularly, these scholars have access to us all the time. So we're an additional support and resource for them.
Yeah, awesome. And for how has being a QuestBridge scholar and a part of the QSN influenced other aspects of your Hamilton experience?
I guess I'll go first. I would say, it's just allowed me to meet people. I think as a person, just meet friends who I coincidentally find out that they're also a QuestBridge scholar, and we have something else to talk about. As well as just I think the QuestBridge network is kind of like it's a community, and recently we also have a new alumni class. So I think it's allowed us to create more opportunities. So in our group chat, people would send, there's this thing coming up, please show up to my event, or there's an opportunity at, a summer internship or winter internship that has also allowed people to take advantage of the community and contribute back to it as well. I think being a QuestBridge scholar at Hamilton has also allowed us to connect with certain professors who support this community. I know there's professors who host scholars and have Professor Dada, the professor that Vanessa mentioned, often connects with QuestBridge scholars, and there's a lot of professors on campus who are also low income first gen. We recently had this First Up event, which had a faculty meetup with first gen faculty and first gen students who got to talk to each other. And I think regardless of whether where you came from, there's this common thing that bonds us all together at Hamilton. Yeah, Vanessa can expand on it as well.
I feel like he keeps stealing my thunder. He keeps saying everything I want to say, but basically, QSN has definitely helped me a lot socially. Many of my friends are QB scholars, and it's great because these are people that share similar experiences with you, and we're able to understand each other in a way that other people might not be able to. So like John Juan said, it's a really nice community to have support from. And I would add another thing. Being part of QSN has connected me to several people that I really look up to, and that includes Maria, and I know Caitlin, I'm gonna look up to you, but and I know a couple of people that left that I really liked. So I would say it's helped me connect to several other faculty members that support me both like academically and, you know, personally. So I think that's also really important because yeah, it's not all about having friends and stuff. It's also having people who can support you as well.
Yeah. Thank you all for sharing about sort of what it looks like to be a QuestBridge scholar on campus, the supports on campus, the connections that you have. And I hope for our prospective students on the line that something resonated with you throughout that. Because I'm very excited to get to work with these amazing scholars this year with Maria. And it is something that students will grow and learn a lot from. Don't forget to please put your questions in the chat if anything comes up. We are happy to answer them, but I am going to transition a little bit to talk about like internship and other opportunities on campus, because Junwan and Vanessa are doing awesome things this summer that I would love for them to share about, and then also share like, what do internship opportunities look like for students? Vanessa, you said you work in the career center, so if you can talk about those resources as well for Hamilton students, that would be great.
So I would say one of the things I'm very closely involved with and I'm so grateful for is the Career Center. I got involved during my spring of my freshman year, but also kind of sucks because that was when the pandemic hit for me. So we normally have like training before school starts, and that's I would say that's pretty standard for most jobs on campus. But because of COVID, I trained for I think like one semester instead, to give us a little bit more leeway because it was a very difficult semester. But I first started on the Connect team, which is me basically planning events and hosting events that connect students to alumni that graduated already, whether that's actually here, let me backtrack. There's like different teams in Connect teams, so different departments. So I was on STEM for a bit, and then no, actually I was on health for forever. Actually, I was never on STEM. I was on health, and then I transitioned to be the group lead of health and STEM. So I would say that's one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had on campus, because not only am I practicing how to speak to alumni, which is really important, like public speaking, I'm also learning how to like build my professional materials, whether that's my cover letters or resume. Those are really important, especially like it's nice that you have the Career Center to help you kind of what's the word, make it like presentable for the outside world. And those are skills you can definitely apply after you graduate. Like I know this job is gonna help me develop skills that I will continue to use for a long time. So that's one of the things that I'm involved in. I'm also an RA. I feel like a lot of people know about what that entails. It's basically you're kind of in charge of a group of residents. So I had 30 residents last year. It sounds like a lot, but I feel like it's the type of job where it's like you either don't have much to do or you have a lot to do. But I decided to do that because I wanted to take on more of a leadership role, and you get a free single. So I wanted that. And going back to the Career Center, I got my summer internships through the Career Center. Career Center has summer internship funding. So it's this application on our website that you apply to a little bit before the summer. I think I applied in like April maybe, or I don't remember, but a couple months before summer. And you can apply whether or not you've secured an internship, or if you think you'll have an internship, but you just don't know when or what it is. But for the past 2 summers, the Career Center has funded 2 of my internships. And my internship from last year was at the vet clinic, and now I'm working there. So I would say the Career Center has opened a lot of doors for me, and I would say it's a really good place to be involved with. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Vanessa, you should go more in detail about what your internships are.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Or yeah, Vanessa, go ahead. you can talk a little bit more about what your internships are.
Oh, my summer internship?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This year I'm interning at the Icon School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. So I was there 4 years ago, which is why I was able to kind of go back. And fun fact, it was actually like the one thing that Hamilton mentioned in my acceptance letter. They were like, "Oh, we're so impressed with your involvement with Mount Sinai," and like I just really love it there because it's in a hospital setting. I'm around a lot of smart people. I get to see a lot of things that I won't be able to see elsewhere. So basically, I'm under the Center for Comparative Medicine and Surgery. It's just biomedical research that uses several animal models to advance human and animal medicine. So I'm kind of like the part of the vet care team that takes care of those animals. And I'd say it's been a really fulfilling experience. I've seen a lot of things, and the vets there let me try a lot of things as well. And that really solidifies my interest in veterinary field. So that was my internship this year. And my internship last year, like I mentioned, was at the vet clinic. I interned there for, I think the requirement was like, I think 200 hours. And then after my 200 hours, after I completed my 200 hours, the vet there hired me because she liked me and I really liked the clinic as well. So that was my internship last year.
For me, last year during my freshman summer, I did summer research on campus. So I coincidentally also had the same professor as Vanessa, Professor Riodata, who I connected with really well. And through talking to her, I got to start doing research my spring semester. And then that expanded into me doing some research over the summer, which involved living on campus for 6 weeks, going to do research on like a full-time basis. And it was a very fulfilling experience, and it taught me a lot about research. And this kind of led me into, exploring more research opportunities. So this summer that I'm currently doing right now, I'm doing a summer internship at Columbia, doing research on campus. I'm working in a fruit fly lab. So I worked in a fruit fly lab last time. So the skills that I learned from Hamilton transferred very easily to where I'm at right now, and just continuing my passion for research. So been at Columbia for about 8 weeks, got one more week left, but those opportunities I were able to get those through Hamilton networking, as well as just asking advisors for help who provided me the opportunity to look for resources and look for these things. So yeah.
Awesome.
Caitlin,
Thank you.
can I add
Yeah,
something really
go
quick?
ahead, Maria.
I wanted to add just really quickly to Vanessa's answer to this, to the student's question about funding internship. So like Vanessa mentioned, it's a stipend. So you apply as a student and you just, you communicate that you're going to be seeking an internship. And so you're looking for funding. Depending on where you are. So like if you were, let's say, a student who's from California, but the internship is going to be in another state, this stipend could also help cover your rent and your housing. And like Vanessa said, your transportation, your food. If you find an internship that is close to home and you're going to be living at home while you're doing this internship over the summer, then it'll cover like transportation, food, stuff like that. But just so that that students on the webinar know, this stipend can be sizable enough that it will cover your housing. So, I think it's a really sweet deal because it means that you can do an internship anywhere, and it'll cover everything. You just have to, apply for it and be clear about what it is. And then you'll have to, if I'm not mistaken, submit just a confirmation from your internship site, that you're actually doing the internship there. And you can do that. I don't think, y'all, there's no limit, right? Like you can do one every summer if you want. Like there's no limit to the stipend if you want to apply for one every summer. Do you know?
Yeah, there's no limit. I would say it's just, it can't be somewhere you've been before. So while I've been at my current internship, it's just I'm in a different department. you know what I'm saying? Like not department because this is a department, but there's like different. So there's small animal, large animal, behavioral enrichment, and pathology. So I did rotations over there, and then I kind of wanted to focus on one specific area, and that's how I kind of marketed it. And yeah, it's just this application. It's a long application, but they just want to know like exactly like what your internship entails and like what the circumstances are. Like, are you living at home, like Maria said? Like how many hours you're going to spend there? Are you going to be supervised? Stuff like that. So they can kind of decide the amount of stipend to give you for the summer. And yeah, I would say it's a really sweet deal. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to intern at the hospital without the stipend because as you know, like low income students, I don't think we can afford to work for free. So it's really helpful.
Yeah. Awesome. And thank you, Maria, for elaborating on that because I was going to elaborate. So great. I'm glad you could provide that. And then, I mean, Hamilton also has study abroad. John Juan or Vanessa, have either of you gone abroad? No? Okay. Well, at Hamilton, we do have a lot of study abroad opportunities as well as internships for students who explore and have that opportunity to study away or off campus as well, which I know is popular among a lot of our students, or 60% of our students do study abroad during their time here.
And if I can add really quick, sorry, there is likely a fund or like a pot of money that can help you go abroad. So I always like to tell students that regardless of your income status or however, don't let that be a thing that deters you from even asking the question and going to the study abroad office, because you know there's a lot of we're very fortunate that we have a lot of generous donors and alums and all of that fund all kinds of things on campus for students. So if you have a dream of going abroad and you end up joining the Hamilton community, don't think that you have to sit and figure out the answer for yourself. Go to the study away office, the campus away study office, and ask the question. Because more than likely, there's a funding source that can help you get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. So we're rounding up on sort of the last 15 minutes of our time here. So these are kind of like surface level questions for everyone to answer about Hamilton. So my first one is, what is your favorite thing about Hamilton? And everyone will answer this, even Maria. So whoever wants to start, what is your favorite thing about Hamilton?
I will say for me, number one is the students.
Okay.
Always. Mm-hmm.
She
have ridiculously.
She means specifically the QuestBridge students.
That's shh, don't tell anybody.
I would say, I feel like this sounds really bad, but my favorite thing about Hamilton is their generosity with funds, so money. like my financial aid package is like more than what I expected. And I know I missed this question earlier, but that's one of the main reasons why I came to Hamilton, because I know I wouldn't have to worry about tuition. And as somebody who's going to go to grad school, I want to minimize the amount of debt I'm in undergrad. So that was extremely important to me. And so tuition and opportunities like summer internship funding. I feel like as long as you ask, anything's possible at Hamilton. Like Maria said, we do have a lot of trust funds and people who donate, which we're really lucky to have. So I would say that's one of my favorite things, if not the most favorite.
For me, I would say one of my favorite things about Hamilton is just like my peers, just the people there, just my classmates and people who I see around school. It's really easy to get to know people, and everyone's relatively friendly to you. So it's easy to find a group of friends, I would say.
Awesome. And since Vanessa did mention financial aid, I know that is a big part of the college process. So if anyone has any questions about financial aid, please be in touch with us. We are to our financial aid office. We are here to help. There's also a great resource on our website specifically for QuestBridge. So definitely go on our website and visit our QuestBridge page to learn more, not only just about financial aid, but about the application process or anything that's QuestBridge specific, because it's all there, but also reach out to us, reach out to me if you have any of those questions. But I wanted to highlight that since Vanessa did bring it up. What is your favorite meal on campus? Or like whether it be meal, your favorite spot to go eat, anything around food.
All right, Joe, go.
I really like, I would say El Guapo from Diner. So it's like a wrap filled with chicken tenders that are chopped up, avocado, lettuce, tomato, I think ranch. And it's a weird combo. I've never actually seen it like elsewhere, but it's something that Hamilton only has. And it's really good. It's very addicting. I usually get it a lot, but yeah, I think eating that or just thinking about that really reminds me about Hamilton.
For me, I would say I had this once freshman year fall and they never brought it back, but I would say this is my favorite food. They had Bam Bam chicken and oh my gosh, it was like so good. They just never brought it back. Like they've had Bam Bam like cauliflower, which is really good, but like Bam Bam chicken, I think that's like the best thing I've had on campus. So I would say that's my favorite meal. In terms of favorite spot, like John Juan said, we have a diner and the food's usually good because it's just soul food. It's like French fries and like you can get burgers, sometimes they have breakfast for dinner on like really late nights, which is another thing. They're open on like really late hours. So on the weekends, it's really nice because who's sleeping early, right? So I would say I would say that's a really popular spot among students.
So I think we need to bring back, what did you say, Bam Bam chicken?
Yeah.
Bam Bam chicken.
I think I know a guy, so I may have to talk to dining services.
Please.
Yeah.
So, like a once a month kind of thing because I've been waiting and I'm a senior now. It's been 3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to somebody because we need to bring that back. I would say for me, so one of our dining halls is called McEwen, and I like McEwen for breakfast. So sometimes I'll have breakfast meetings and I'll, have students meet me over there because I like McEwen breakfast. And plus there's like several dining services staff over there that are just like lovely, amazing people. And so it gives me the opportunity to chit chat with them. So I love that. I also like Diner. I may have to try that El Guapo wrap. I usually create like my own chef's salad type of thing with also chicken tenders and boiled eggs and stuff on my own little chef salad thingy, but it's good stuff.
Nice. Yeah, this all sounds good. I'm like trying to find the spots that I'm going to eat on campus once things open back up and students are back. So John Juan, I am going to try that. So my last question for you all tonight is what tips do you have for the college prep scholars who are on the call this evening as they begin their college application process? What tips or advice? I'll leave it open for you guys to choose.
I can start. I think the main thing is to realize that that you already made it into this program. You're clearly very successful people, very talented, high potential. So like, don't let college, what college you go to or what path you take determine how don't let that decide what your future is going to look like. I think that since you've already made it into this program, you honestly can achieve really good things. And just know that success there's a good portion of it that is hard work, but there's also a lot of luck. So don't feel deterred when luck doesn't go your way. There's always going to be more opportunities. And if you keep going at it, you're truly going to do great things. So I would say that's my main advice.
Okay, I have a whole list. I was really prepared for this. So, I would say, this doesn't just apply to like if you're interested in Hamilton, like good for you, but this is just in general. I would say one big thing, make sure to thoroughly research the schools you're interested in, especially their curriculum, their location, and financial aid. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just was looking at the list of partners and I like picked like the top, like it was in alphabetical order. So I kind of just picked a couple of schools and like saw if they had any like diversity programs, and like Hamilton had one and I visited. I also visited Haverford. So those were the two schools I happened to have the chance to visit and then eventually like get into. So yeah, so I would say really do your research because there's so many partners. It's going to be hard to kind of rank 12 schools if you're doing the match and not know what it's like. So I only ranked 2 schools. Looking back, I probably should have ranked more, but I don't really have regrets. It's more, I think it depends on your how you feel. But researching the school is really important. Supplements, I would say they're not as important, but they're also important. It shows whether or not you've done your research. You can't just say like, oh, I want to go to Hamilton because they have an open curriculum. Like, what about the open curriculum interests you? What do you want to study? How are you going to use that to your advantage? I would say like the supplement is really like a way to really be specific and say why exactly you want to go to this school. And right now, you guys are in high school. I would say it's like almost time for you guys to get rec letters. So I would build relationships with your teachers. I know like when I was in high school, when I was a high school senior, I had friends, I had people in my class that were like, yeah, I don't know who to ask for a rec letter because I just don't talk to my teachers. Like, you know, like it's just really hard to be in that position. So if you have a teacher that you like, or you had a class that you really enjoyed with them, build that relationship because they'll have more to write in your rec letter, and a strong rec letter can be really helpful in your application. And then the last piece of advice I would have is regarding your Common App essay / QuestBridge essay. I would draft your essays over the summer, or maybe not draft, but like brainstorm, because you do have, I believe it's New Year's. So you have time, like seems like you have so much time, but you're gonna want to use all that time you have because that first draft that you make is not gonna be what you submit. I had to redraft mine like 6-7 times because my English teacher would just like scribble over it, reject it, and she's like, here, write this again, make edits, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like I'm not a great writer, but I would say like your first draft is not what you're gonna submit. So I would start early, basically. So that's all I have for you guys.
I just have, just to add on to what Jungwon and Vanessa both shared, which I think is like so right on. I'm here to, this is the cheerleader side of me. Similar to when Jungwon said, you all have clearly demonstrated that you're capable. So now it's about really expanding on talking about you when you filling out these applications and just being really clear about what you're interested in. I think Vanessa's point of, getting to know the institutions and doing a bit of research is really important because this is where you could potentially be spending, 4-ish years of your life. And it's not just about the location of the school, but what can the institution give you and help supplement, so that you can get to your end goal. The one thing that I will also tell you, and this is kind of a fun fact that you don't necessarily realize until you are finally in college, is that, you may have a dream of being, I don't know, fill in the blank in your future. And that could change really quickly once you arrive to your institution. So don't have like this death grip on, I am going to be, and I can tell you, I was that person, right? Like I knew what I was doing, quote unquote, the junior year of high school for the rest of my life. That completely changed. So have an idea, think about it, make that part of what kind of guides you at your at the institution that you want to end up matching with, or that you're most interested in, or as you're ranking your schools. But really give yourself the ability to kind of shop around and check out different places. So it's, you know, be you, and as you're filling out this application and writing and rewriting this essay, be transparent and be honest about who you are. And Caitlin can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, your reference letter should be, of course, coming from somebody that understands and knows you in your academic space. But I think that there's something really unique about getting recommendation letters from folks who know you in other parts of your life. You know, if you volunteer somewhere, if you help out in other ways in other people's lives. I mean, it's really about painting the picture of who you are, and institutions want to see all of that. So, you know, so don't think that it has to be this very specific way of getting a recommendation letter.
Yeah. Thank you, Maria, for that. And thank you, John Juan and Vanessa, who are just like wise beyond their years. Like, I'm sitting here listening to your advice. I'm like, John Juan, so insightful. Vanessa, I'm like, just take my job. Like, you're saying all the things. And the one thing you mentioned that I was going to bring up is like fly-in opportunities, right? Visiting campus. And here at Hamilton, we do have a fly-in program for students to come to campus, and we pay for your flights, your lodging, and all things included. And the application just went live on Monday. So it is called Home at Hamilton. You all should have gotten an email. So feel free to visit our website, go to Home at Hamilton, and apply to our program if you think Hamilton is the place for you, but you can't get to campus. The program's in October, but the application's open now with a deadline of August 26th. So feel free to go and do that. And if you want to learn more about Hamilton, feel free to visit our website. There's a lot of other virtual opportunities coming up throughout the summer and in the fall. And as I think John Juan said, our YouTube channel, feel free to visit that as well. But thank you all for joining us for our QuestBridge College Scholars panel. And thank you to our panelists for joining us tonight and sharing your insights on Hamilton with our prospective students. So I hope you have a wonderful evening and a great rest of your summer.